Hey there, Safehouse family.
What's up, Safehouse family? Welcome back.
Welcome back to another episode.
You know what song is in my head, right?
Welcome back, Cotter.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I'm psychic. Welcome back. The dreams
Dreams
were
of
your ticket out.
Welcome back
to the same old place that we laughed about. Look at that, see? All right. Captain and Tennille here.
Yeah, welcome back, guys.
We're dating ourselves.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who Captain and Tennille is. So for those young folks that
Well, didn't they make Love Will Keep Us Together?
Yeah, they made Love Will Keep Us. Yeah. So
Love will keep us together.
All right, we put a quarter in the jukebox now. We see
I know,
what
Andre already know. Don't get me started singing.
All right, so you young folks out there that
Except don't let me do karaoke. Oh my God.
Another karaoke night is coming, so she's preparing for that. So,
oh man, welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, you all. We want you to throw a like on us, throw a share on us.
Yes.
And subscribe to the channel. You look beautiful. You are
like puffy.
Big hair. Got the big 90s hair.
Like, whoa. See, that's why it's a good thing we're talking about remembering today. We did a lot of nostalgic stuff today already.
Yeah, a lot of throwback.
We did a lot of throwback stuff today already.
So, as you mentioned, today we're going to be talking about remembering. And specifically remembering, why did you get married?
Yeah.
So we're focusing on the married couples today. So folks that are not married, you don't have to tune out, because this is something you need to contemplate on your journey with your forever person.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's going to come to a point in your journey that when you meet this person and you decide to go down this path, it's good to be able to discuss, hey, babe, why are we doing this?
Yeah, why are we? Yeah.
Why do you want to do this? Here's why I want to do this. And it's good to have, because I know when we got together, we didn't really have that sort of meeting of the minds around why we're doing this, right?
I think, Andre was like, I'm not getting married. He was like, going to live the high life. He was like, I'm going to get me a fast car. I'm living downtown. And I was like, but we dating. I'm like, but yeah, he was like, marriage wasn't even on the radar.
I think every young man had like a vision of having like a Corvette or some sort of fast car, and then having an apartment, downtown on the Gold Coast. And
that's what he wanted.
And having a girlfriend, right?
Not a wife. Just piece on the side, I guess. I don't know.
No, not a side, with no side pieces, right? We're not.
No, I was gonna be your piece on the side. I don't know. Not that you'd have others,
main
but
squeeze.
Right. Oh, that's your main squeeze.
Yeah, we would be going steady, as they would say in the old school, right?
Going steady. See, I'm telling you. But yeah, that was the question. Like you said, why did we get married? And it kind of came up because I'm a part of this group on Facebook, the Marriage Club. And so this week on the Marriage Club, there's been a lot of couples posting about, in recognition of Couples Week, they'd really kind of been talking about, when they met, when they started dating, when did they get engaged, when they actually got married, and if they were still a team today. And I just thought that was really good, because once again, it was nice to read about all of the different couples and, people who had been married for short periods of time, long periods of time. And even some people were even posting their stories about, like not easy still being a team, but like you said, but just the whole concept of, why did I get married? So like I said, when like even thinking about when we met, like I said, when we met, clearly we weren't thinking about marriage. When did we meet?
So we met.
Let's see if we can answer some of these questions first.
So the first time we met was actually, there was not a sort of a dating prospect, right? So not too long, so we're both members of Black three-letter organizations. Not too long after I joined my organization, I think you had been a member for a couple of months more than me. There was a step show practice in the basement of Columbia College.
Okay.
Right. And so the first time I met you and some of your line sisters was at this place. Now there wasn't a dating prospect or anything like that. That was the first time.
That was just the first time we met, because like I said, even on the even on some of the posts, it was like some of the people met in school, like they were high school sweethearts. I think it was like one couple, they like met in elementary school.
Yeah.
So like you said, I mean, and it's funny that you tell that story, because I was like, when we were telling the story to other people, we had two different versions.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, we met at Northwestern. You were like, no, we met at Columbia. And I was like, I like totally forgot.
Right. Well, that was the first time I saw you, right? But it was like, when we actually,
First time I saw.
right, when you actually like acknowledged my existence was Northwestern. So, but once again, it's different. I mean, it's one of those things where you look back, it's like Vantage Point, right?
That is
if
true.
you ever saw that movie, it's like a whole bunch of people viewed the same incident from a bunch of different perspectives, and each one had a little bit different story. But
that is
before we keep going, I just want to give shout out to Chris and Mauricio Sonny, who run the Marriage Club. If you are married or in a relationship engaged, suggest you, if you have a Facebook account, go out and check out the Marriage Club.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worthwhile being a part of.
Very chock full of activity. They have over 2 million members in there, so more than likely you will find someone that is in your stage of relationship life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you'll be able to match energies with them, and be able to share notes and exchange lessons learned. So
yes, absolutely.
Definitely would recommend them. So let's get into the topics, so remembering. So we talked a little bit about us, but so why do people get married? I mean, I know when we look at our story of, we talked about meeting and dating, but then like when we talk about why we got married, I know there's probably different perspectives, and hopefully through this episode we will remain married, right? Because
like,
some of the dirt is about to come out, right?
We never talked about. I don't know. This is like our first time talking about it, so God only knows what's going to be said.
Right. We decided to do this on YouTube, right? So you're about to either watch the strengthening or the complete collapse of a relationship.
Right. Well, Team Allen.
Team Allen, right? So y'all pray for us right now while we're going through this.
Exactly. That's a good question. Why? I think for me, like I said, when I think back, during that time, it was, my friends were getting married, and I just thought it was just like the next natural progression of life, that, you finish college, you get a job, and then you get married.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was just the normal thing to do. So not that I didn't want to be in love and, and have the romance and all of that stuff. I think I just kind of looked at it like it's the next practical thing to do.
It's the next step. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't feel so bad about my answer then.
Okay.
We're going to be together, y'all. We'll be all right after this.
Right.
So, similar to you, it was a different kind of practicality, right? So as a young man, we all out there, right? We do our thing. I was Greek, you was Greek, and we're out there, right? And I'm not confessing anything, but
Right.
And at some but I preamble that with that to say, at some point you're like, okay, I'm not going to be a young fool for long. At some point, a young fool turns into an old fool, right? And, you decide, okay, is this thing that I have with this person, am I risking losing it by not committing? So it's, I don't want to say it was out of fear, but it's just like, what, I'd rather do this even if I'm not completely ready right now, because I don't want to risk losing something.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really the motivation. Yeah.
And I remember, like I said, like you said, even like when you talk about, young men, like you said, at some point, like you said, you can only sow so many wild oats.
Right. There's only so many wild oats to sow, right? So many hearts you can break, so much, and it's so much dirt you can leave out there, right?
Because we talked about that. Like you said, that's the whole concept of being young. I mean, like I said, even when I talk to young people, part of the reason why they don't want to commit is because it's like, well, I still got some things I need to do. I still want to live life. It's like you just kind of want to see what's out there. Like you said, at the risk of losing, somebody that's really special to you, in your life.
Yeah, yeah, you do, and I've even seen that same sort of mentality bleed over into older people,
Yeah.
right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I need to know what's out there. I need to explore. I need to so and so and so and so. But then you have people that are single. You're like, it ain't nothing out
Right.
here, right?
Right.
They'll complain.
Exactly.
They'll complain about all the issues they have to go through. And I
Mm-hmm.
know right now, for me, looking at the dating market, the whole online dating
Yeah.
prospect, the whole catfishing potential, the whole apps based
That's true.
meeting
Yeah.
sort of situation, sharing a picture from 15 years ago like it's today, and you know
Yeah.
and
No,
and
that's
and your
true.
picture and your profile never talks about how crazy you are,
Right.
right? And so just that whole environment
Mm-hmm.
scares me
Yeah.
in terms of a dating
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's
prospect,
real. Yeah.
so they're contending with a lot. So, we've got a couple of categories here in terms of what motivates people to get married. And so, folks out there, as you all are watching this episode, listening, considering either that are married or that are considering marriage, you're on your path to your forever person. Start to think about and leave in the comments below, why did you get married, right? Why do you think you get married? Only if it's safe. Now, we don't want to cause any breakups, divorces, conflicts in houses, or anything like that. But if it's safe and it's something that you, as your couple, you're willing to share, if you're going through the process dating, you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to share with us, because we really like to know. So we have a couple of categories. These are not exhaustive. There are probably many more, but one of the
Mm-hmm.
categories is sort of these internal motivations, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, right? So, there's this desire for love and companionship. You really want to, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I want to be married. I want to be with
Yeah.
somebody.
You
I
don't
want
want
to
to be
share life with somebody.
alone,
Yeah.
and so like you said, that could be, one of the reasons. Now, like the part about companionship though is, sometimes, like you said, if that could also be a negative because now you just settle. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're like, man, I'm like you said, especially if you're older, you're like, man, I'm getting older. You know,
Right.
I don't want to be by myself. So I'm just gonna go ahead
Right. Rather
and
than Mr. Right, I'm going to get Mr. Right now.
right,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and 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 there's a difference to me between sort of just settling versus having some level of standards. Now,
Yeah.
I do believe we're in this environment where some of the standards that are being set by people are just outrageous.
Mhm.
They have standards set for the person that they're trying to meet that they don't even hold
Right.
themselves to. So,
Mhm.
I just, we want to make sure people just don't settle for anything that comes along just because it is a person that's a potential. But on the same
Right.
time, same token, you don't want to eliminate potential good candidates or potential good people in your life because they don't meet this book standard that you have,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
You know,
Attraction,
yeah, yeah.
feel attracted. Feel attracted to this man.
Yes,
Yes, I
thank you. I'm
am.
still very much attracted to you as
Yeah,
well.
see,
So,
that's he had to say that so we could stay married.
right, right. That's why you stay. Because
Right.
sometimes the reason you got married ain't the reason you
Right.
stay married.
No,
But
that's real talk.
you know,
Listen, some of us have a serious glow up. I mean, yeah, you know.
well, it's like, I don't know if it's glow up or blow up, right? Because sometimes, I know I'm
I think I
heavier.
blew up. I'm still carrying around baby weight, and my oldest baby is 26. I'm like, "Ooh, Lord, want me fitting in that wedding dress?"
Ooh, man, brother man ain't got no hair. I used to have a head full of black
Oh
hair,
my God.
right? My beard, I had the
Right.
Gerald Levert going on. My beard was black,
Yeah. I
but
like that
now,
blow up.
yeah,
You
but
say forget glow up.
yeah,
It's
but
just a
I don't know
blow.
if I glue up or blew up because now I ain't got
Right.
no hair. Everything is gray,
Right. We didn't blew up together.
I still get a few compliments on the gray, right?
You
So
do.
I can still, I think I'm pulling
Listen, man.
pulling off the sexy big
That's
man
why I
thing,
gotta
right?
listen. I very rarely let this man go anywhere without me because I'll be like, these women be out here talking about, ooh, we love the silver foxes. You get in your hole, Miss Foxy.
You get in your hole, Miss Foxy. That is the quote of the century, y'all. Y'all tweet that. Get in your hole, Miss Foxy. Stay away from
I
my
can't
stay away from my silver fox.
listen. Yes,
Yeah. You get the award for that one. You just won the internet.
I'm just saying. That's how I feel about it.
But chemistry, right? So
Yes,
so that chemistry, once again, why you got married, it's got to mature along so you stay
absolutely.
married, right?
Yeah.
So that person is not what you got at 20 is not going to look that way they may be an attractive 50, but they're going to be 50, right? You know,
Absolutely.
they may be attractive
right.
60, right? But they're going to be 60, and they're going to have some things that come along with 60-year-olds,
And I
right?
like what you said about the chemistry piece, because I think about a chemistry set,
Yeah.
and how it's just all these different things you're putting together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing in any relationship.
Yeah.
The chemistry changes,
Mm-hmm.
and so you still got to be willing to experiment, do different things, just to kind of, like you said,
Yeah.
just to make it work so you can stay married. Because like you said, when we focus so much on why did I get married, it's like, well, man, and when we first got married, you was this and you was that. It's like, yeah, but look, now let's talk about like why we stay married.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I'm not that person
Right.
anymore. And
Yeah.
you're not that person
Right.
anymore. So yeah, though, that's important.
Yeah, and there's chemistry in that way, and then there's chemistry of, those feelings that you have for that
Oh yeah,
person, right?
absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, how do you tell you have chemistry, right? When they're not around and something of theirs is there and it has their smell. And you
Yeah.
just want to, right?
Yeah.
Don't get nasty, y'all. Don't get nasty, y'all. Right? I'm talking about a shirt, an article of clothing, right? If you're married, it could be whatever
Right, it could
article
be
of
whatever,
clothing
right.
you prefer that
Exactly.
has the smell, right? But
know.
it's that chemistry, that
It
thing that
is,
makes
yeah.
your heart flutter a little
Yeah.
bit when you think about them, right? The way they wear an outfit, or the way they walk, or the way they comfort you, or the way they hold you,
Yeah.
or the way they may kiss you, or something like that.
Yeah.
That just really does that.
It's, I think for, and I'll just kind of like speak to this, like the chemistry piece is, like I said, when we first got married, it used to bother me. Like I said, when we would cross the street and you would always like grab my hand. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, I know how to cross the
I'm grown.
street.
I'm a grown blank woman.
Then some days, one day when he actually saved my life, I was like, well, maybe I do hold my hand, because clearly I don't know how to cross the street. But even after being married for 30 years, that piece of our chemistry still exists, because there's, like if we're crossing the street, you still like will grab my hand.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's a place of security and protection, and so like I said, it's a part of our chemistry.
Well, say for the young brothers, I'll teach you a class on how to walk a lady down the street, which side you should be on, the street side, and all those other things. But that's an old school thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sort of a classic man, so I don't know if some of those disciplines are still there, but hey. So
that's why we're talking about remembering.
That's
because
why we're
part
talking
of
about
that too
remembering.
is, part of remembering is being able to teach the next generation about those things.
Yeah.
Does
the Bible have a
Yeah, so Psalm 143:5 says, I remember the days of old. I meditate on all thy works. I muse on the work of thine hands. And to me, it's a testament to the long lasting ability of relationships. Like I'm remembering like what it was like, and especially that part, like I muse on the work of thy hands, because when when you're in a long lasting relationship, it's really God that's doing the work.
Yeah,
Let's just be honest about it.
And
it's not us.
Yeah.
Because we'll mess it up, and we have messed it up. But the thing that's keeping us together is the work of God's hands. And so that way we really can't even take credit. I always say this all the time. I was like, people's like, oh my God, you guys have been married for 30 plus years. I'm like, listen, it is really the grace of God.
It is.
That has kept us this far.
Yeah. And it's amazing too, because, and I'm about to geek out now, so geek alert. The context of the scripture kind of has, David's going through some turmoil. It's a psalm, right? But he's singing about, it's like the sine wave, right? He sings about the down, then he sings about the ups, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, the word muse is kind of another word for inspiration, right?
I
So
like that.
the memories of what you've done inspire me, right? And so even in our marriages, right, when we go through these down places, do we have memories that inspire us, right? To say, you know what? Yeah, this is a bad spot, but we got something bigger. We got something else going on. And I remember, all the great things that we have overcome and we could overcome, and the capabilities that we have. So now I'm inspired to go further.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that, it's those things that get us back on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need a little inspiration every now and
We
then,
do.
right?
Yeah.
So now we got all spiritual. So let's talk about some of these spiritual motivations, And those can be kind of funny, right?
Right.
Because brothers, how many of y'all out there in church before folks knew you was married, it was like, you my husband. It's like, well,
Right.
that can't be God because I already have a wife.
Right.
It's like
I did tell Andre though. I was like, well, I know God told me
mhm.
you were my husband,
Yeah,
and I
but I wasn't married at the time
right,
either,
no,
right?
yeah,
It's
right.
like,
Yeah. Not that it wasn't women that was after him, no. It's just, but I was
like,
like, listen, foxies.
Foxes, get it back in your fox. Get it back in your hole,
Get
Miss
back in
Foxy.
your hole, Miss Foxy.
No, but outside of the joking, sometimes, as people of God, as people of the Spirit, as
Yeah.
people of faith, we can hear that
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
there are certain people that are designed for us and how we pursue that, right? We have to be very cautious and careful about how we pursue those types of things because once again, y'all, God ain't telling you that somebody else's husband is not
Right.
your husband.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's definitely not saying
God
that.
is not telling you to steal somebody from somebody else. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
That's what the
right?
Bible says.
No. But can we be dating somebody? And if you're spiritual, sort of hear from God, and God says, you know what, this person is the person, be patient.
And I feel like you need to hear that sometimes because
Yeah.
sometimes we'll be with somebody, and God could be telling us this is not the person for us, but because we're into the internal motivations of the love and the companionship and the attraction and we think we have chemistry that we don't hear God saying this is not the one for you.
Yeah.
So you got to have all of these play in together. So you just can't have an internal motivation and not have a spiritual motivation.
Yeah.
You got to be hearing from God when it's time to say, okay, why am I marrying this person? Is this the person that God would have me to be with?
And the good thing about spiritual motivations is because there is one Holy Spirit, you can test that.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You can try that. You can go to a trusted spiritually minded person in your life, whether it be your pastor or a prayer partner or someone else that you can seek God in prayer for confirmation on that thing so that you're not just, okay, I heard from God, I'm going to act on my own. No.
Yeah.
There is room to sort of have this confirmed in various places before you just jump out there. Because sometimes our emotions are, the spirit is subject to our emotions and our feelings, right? And sometimes we can override.
Oh, yeah. We
what's
absolutely
what's
can.
really
Yeah.
there and go in a direction that we're not intended to go. So we have to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you can tie that back to, the sort of love and companionship and attraction and things like that you can hear. But once again, if you find yourself more motivated by just being in a relationship, just being in love, just wanting to move the process along, just wanting to be in that stage of life, you can actually shut down the voice of God and then revealing to you about things about this relationship that you should know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like
That is true.
this person has a past. Yeah, they're your person, but this person has a past that you would need to be able to deal with.
Right. Because it's going to show up
Yeah.
in the relationship and you're going to need Jesus.
Yeah. So
you are.
So we hear this one all the time. It's better to marry than burn.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Some people do. Some people listen. I'm trying to go to heaven.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though, because
I've heard people say that though. It's like, well, I married them because, I was sexually attracted to them. And so, I felt like this was my person. And so we just went ahead and we just got married.
Yeah. And
that way I didn't have to commit fornication, or anything like that.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying that's a bad reason to,
I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know if it can be the sole reason, I know we get a bad case of the can't help it's when it comes to sex and sexual attraction, right? But to me, so here's the thing about age and time and being with somebody with purpose, right? So we have all this sexual attraction, better to marry than burn. What if your forever person gets ill, right? They're still your forever person. They're just not able to be as sexual, right? And even if they are able to be sexual, they may not be as attractive because they're ill, right?
Right. That's true.
You know, it's
Right.
like,
And
well,
now you're ready to leave. Yeah. That's true.
I still love you, but I'm skin and bones because I'm going through treatments.
Right.
And so now, because you can't fulfill your sexual needs, then because the only reason you got married is because you didn't want to burn,
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
but now we together and you're gonna have to burn because man, I guess I had
So
chemo.
you're
I
gonna
just
have
had
to
whatever.
burn.
I ain't gonna, you know.
Okay.
I mean, so but once again, the better for worse part can get lost
Yeah,
in
that's
that.
true. No, that's real talk right there. Yeah. Like you said, especially if that's
Your sole
your
motivate.
sole motivation. And let's just be honest, like some churches push that.
They'll push that,
They will
right?
push
They
that.
will push
Yeah.
that, right? But once again, I think we're setting our folks up for failure. And I'm not saying that churches that push that don't do the background work
Right.
on the other items, right? And I agree. You want to, and once again, just get really, really, really deep, right? So what is it in your spirit makeup, whatever, that causes you to deal with that maybe,
Right.
right? What is it what is broken in your personality
Mm-hmm.
that says, if I don't have sex, I'm going to die, right?
Right.
If I
Yeah.
don't, get with somebody, if I don't have somebody to get with regularly, then it's going to cause me to sin,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, once again, it's better to marry than burn. I'm not trying to take anything away from that
Right.
scripture, but then, you know, we all need some level of discipline.
Yeah. No, that is true.
And discipline is to do something that you hate like you love it,
Yeah.
right?
That is real.
And
Yeah.
no, I hate that I don't have a partner to share my, time and whatever
Yeah.
with, but I'm gonna do this because I don't want to fall,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you get off my soapbox,
Yeah. Well, what about some other external factors you think would provoke people to?
Yeah. So partner pressure, right?
Yeah.
You'll have
That was me. Let me just put that out there before he put it out there
Right,
first.
right, right. And you know what?
I was like,
So
let's go.
so there's that, and I'm not going to lay fault there because there's part of this that is biological, right?
Mm-hmm.
A woman's biological clock in terms of having kids and having that's your TikTok.
Yeah, that's my TikTok.
Having children, there's a chemical component to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? I gotta reproduce,
And I'm older than he is. I know, y'all.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's hard to believe.
It's hard to
but,
believe, yeah. But
I'm older than this
I got
joker.
I got me a veteran over
Yeah,
here,
I'm older than
right?
he is. So I was like,
She came and I was just
that
walking
clock
up.
was like, dude, wait, I ain't got all day.
I
You
had-
might, but I don't.
I was rolling down the street with my lollipop and my skateboard, and this old seductress cougar came and pulled me out of my childhood experience.
Wow.
She can't recover after that, see? 'Cause she knows it's true. I was just skippity along with my little propeller beanie on, and I had one of them lollipops with a big swirl in it.
Oh,
And she
Lord.
was like, "I got something for you over here, young man." What you got, lady?
Here we are.
And here we are,
Right.
30 years later.
Right. But I was the partner who was pressuring it. So that's the moral of that story.
Right. Well, and it's the partner pressure thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. Because I can tell you, if we're not forced to make a decision, the decision we'll make is no decision.
That's true. I didn't think about it like that.
And,
So I'm
and
glad I
so-
did put some pressure on
yeah,
you.
and so it wasn't a bad thing because look where we are now. If
That's
not
true.
for that little bit of pressure, I would have delayed the thing as long as I potentially possibly could.
That's real talk,
right?
yeah.
And, as a young man, like I said, at some point you sowed enough wild oats, you done enough dirt, you broke enough hearts, maybe this needs to end, right?
Yeah.
Before I get shot,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. But either way, it's time at some point, if there may be pressure there, as long as it's not unhealthy pressure, as
Right.
long as it's not toxic pressure, right? I'm going to kill myself if we don't, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. Or,
Right. How did you feel when I was like pressuring you though?
like anybody feels, right? It's just like, man, we fine just the way we are. Why we got to do all this, right?
Right.
And when you are at a different maturity level, you don't realize sometimes what's better for you, right? But at some point, I don't know if it was the Holy Spirit or something saying to me, it's just like, look, dude, at some point, young fools turn to old fools,
Yeah.
right? And, you just don't know when the opportunity for the right one will come along,
Mhm.
right? And so I just didn't want to let go of that opportunity. So while I may have not have been sure on every front, I was sure that one thing I didn't want to lose you,
Yeah.
right? So,
Okay.
so no, it's not fun to be pressured, but
Yeah.
I guess I needed it at the time. Societal norms, this is something you need to do, right? And as a parent of two adult children,
Yeah. Been thinking about that lately.
yeah, I know sometimes we feel that way, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, when are the grandkids coming? When are they going to meet a mate? When are they going to meet a spouse? And I'm sure our kids get tired of us bringing it up.
Right. No, that's true. I'm always telling I'm praying for your spouse, because you're gonna, and they're
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
not even thinking about
yeah.
marriage is not even on my radar,
Right, right. It's
you know?
I'm just enjoying my life as a
Yeah.
young person. I got my career, I got my degree. I'm doing whatever I'm doing
Mhm.
and think life's good. And I'm sure we can bring a chilling effect to the room.
Yeah.
you
But I
know?
also think too, that's one of those spiritual motivations. So
Yeah.
I always think that, okay, well, God created Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
to be together. And so when I think about our kids, that okay, that God created a Eve for AJ and an Adam, for Hannah,
Right.
because God just doesn't want us, he didn't create us to be alone.
Yeah.
So that's like that spiritual motivation
Yeah.
that, that drives me, like I say, even when I'm thinking about our kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
False expectations. If I marry this dude, he'll change.
Yeah, I mean,
If I marry this girl, she'll change, right? Maybe married life will turn this girl that's for the streets into a loving housewife.
I think that's one of the hardest ones,
Hmm.
because, it's one of those things, like I said, when you get married and then you see the person's not changing in the way that you want them to,
Yeah, you get
you
frustrated
get frustrated,
when the person
you
hasn't
know.
done anything, right?
Right.
They've been exactly
They
who they
yeah,
are.
they've been consistent.
Yeah, they've been consistently
Right.
who they
They've
are.
been
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah. But that this is sort of the side effect of people that dream and have vision,
Yeah.
because we can dream and have vision about who we're with,
Mhm.
and we could so see them in their future state that we want to put the accelerator on
Oh,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
you know
Yeah.
And the downside of that is that we can't control the pace.
Yeah.
And we often get frustrated when the pace doesn't match the pace of our vision.
Yeah. That's
And
real.
we can lay that on people,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That's real. So why are we talking about, like I said, all of this though? So like even as we get ready to close, it's like I said, the concept of why did I get married? You know, I think one of the reasons why, like you said, it's important is because why we got married follows us
Hmm.
throughout our entire marriage.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes one of those tracks
Hmm.
on how our marriage will play out.
Yeah.
So I felt like me pressuring you. So like for example, pressuring you to get married.
Hmm.
You know, those first few years of our marriage was hard.
Yeah. There was
It
yeah.
was it was it wasn't easy. You hear some people like, "Oh, the first few years of our marriage was perfect. It
No,
was wonderful. We loved
no.
each other." I was like, "No, I had to acknowledge like, man, you know what? Maybe there was a part of me that regretted
Hmm.
putting the pressure on because I was like, maybe if I had just waited, like you said, when you get ahead
Hmm.
of yourself,
Hmm.
and so I felt like if I hadn't have done that, then maybe, those first few years wouldn't have been as difficult. I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
we don't
maybe.
we don't
Right.
know, because maybe the only thing that would have happened is push the same process a little further to the right.
Right.
Right, we'd have
That
just been going through it at an older age, right?
right.
We don't know, right?
Right.
But there is a sort of a foundation that gets created for while you get married.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's the sustaining reason for why we stay married,
Mhm.
right? But that foundation that you create of why you got married, that follows you for
Mhm.
some time, whether it be good or bad. So, I would say to folks out there, especially the ones that are on the path, having that conversation. And even if you're newly married, if you're sort of in that first 5 years, okay, let's take a pause. Why did we do this?
Yeah.
Right? Did we respond to a situation? Was there a pregnancy and we just felt the need to do it? And I didn't want anybody else, in the old school, I don't want anybody else raising my kids.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And so there was sort of a noble family-oriented reason there, right? Alarming statistic, though, is that people are choosing to not get married at an alarming rate.
Yeah, that is true.
I know in the 40s and 50s, it was more than 50% of people were getting married or choosing marriage as part of their life process. And now I think it's like less than 20, 30%.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. Because, we didn't talk about this, but, we talk about power couples. I can be a power individual.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need somebody to reach a standard economically. I can do that, on my own.
Yeah. But you see people that do it, they'll do it because they feel like they have this enhanced profile.
Yeah.
I'm making a ton of money. She making a ton of money. I have a platform. She has a platform.
Right.
Together, we'll have a mega platform, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so we can show up in the sharpest of clothes and in the fanciest of cars, and we look like that couple doing things and making moves. But then again, how we got together. Did we just get together to put on a show? Or did we get together for a purpose?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's a heavy
thing.
It's a very complex topic. So,
but I like it, going back to, like I said, it's the remembering, because I think that helps us as couples to be nostalgic.
Yeah.
About our relationships, because I think I want to be able to tell our grandkids like how we got together, and even when AJ and Hannah bring home, if they should bring home, future spouses, boyfriend, girlfriend, a potential person. Sorry. To be able to just to be able to share our story.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that really attracted me about those posts on the Marriage Club. It was people willing to share their stories about, how it started and where it is now, which meant that there still had to be some conversation about, man, remember when we used to do this and that? And like you said, it's that meditating.
Yeah.
Like, man, we really had to put some work into this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, pondering that question of, why did I get married? I think it's what you said about musing. I think it's very inspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we
got. We
got.
hope you guys are inspired.
We hope you all are inspired by our story. We're still together.
We're still together.
So thank you for your prayers.
We still
your prayers
Team
kept
Allen.
us together.
Yeah, especially through this conversation because we didn't know where
it was going to go. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so that you'll know when we produce new content. You can find us on Instagram at Safe in the House. We're also on Facebook under @SafeInTheHouse. Email us safeinthehouse@gmail.com with your questions or inquiries. I think we're going to be producing some merch at some point in the future. So be on the lookout for some Safehouse merch.
Yeah, we got some things in the cooker.
In the cooker.
Yeah. Is that like the slow cooker or the steam?
It's the fast burn.
We'll see what happens.
All right, so with that, we'll be signing off. We love you. We love you. We love you. And with that, we say peace.